Hola amigos de YouTube, aquí EuryCloud con un nuevo video y estamos con lo que es la video reacción de Nindies Direct del día de hoy. A ver cómo está, cómo va.
Good morning. I am Dr. J.M. Lounsbury from the Ministry of Drink and Health Regulation. While many working adults start their day with coffee, we recommend to switch to milk to complete your regimen of nutrifying activity. If you are making the switch, a very great annoyance which occurs often with milk occurs during the pouring of it. If you tackle a particularly vicious pour without taking the proper care, you're bound to splash all over. Your whole day is ruined. To demonstrate proper pouring technique, I shall apply my face protector. Splendid.
¿Qué voz será este que están anunciando?
Milk is to raise the pouring container and angle it at no more than 45 degrees positively as you
Usa la
approach
máscara,
your
leche.
drinking vessel. I will now begin to pour.
¡Oh! ¡Canje para Nintendo Switch! ¡Jaja! ¡Oh, sí! Voy a poder seguir con la serie. Yo no comencé a hacer de canje, pero no pasé del tercer video, no pasé, creo que fue. No pasé del tercer video. La dejé ahí la serie, pero vamos a continuar en el canal. No queda de otra.
Cuphead is
Wow.
coming to the Nintendo Switch system. You can thank Studio MBHR for making their award-winning game so special, and our friends at Microsoft for helping us bring Cuphead to even more players. As fans know, poor Cuphead made a deal with the devil.
Los rumores, algo así eran ciertos los rumores que veíamos canje de Nintendo Switch, miren.
You'll dodge fire and dish out your own, whether you play solo or invite a buddy along for the ride. Those gorgeous hand-drawn cell animations rendered in classic 1930 style look as good as ever. And the live jazz soundtrack by
Vos puedes seguir esta serie, vos puedes seguirla al fin.
You'll see why when Cuphead launches on Nintendo Switch April 18th. It's available for pre-purchase today.
Wow, wow, wow. El 18 de abril.
I'm Kirk Scott, your friendly
Oh.
neighborhood indie guy.
And I'm Katie Casper, the Friendly Gamer. Thank you for joining as we showcase upcoming games in our first Nindies showcase of 2019.
We couldn't wait to share the news about
Vaya.
and we're just getting started. While we're
Canje
honored to
para
bring
Nintendo
game series
Switch,
like
canje
Super
para
Mario
Nintendo
and
Switch.
Legend of Zelda, there are many other worlds to explore. Created by talented indie partners, these games embody the quality of curation that fans have come to expect on Nintendo Switch.
That's right, Kirk. Developers across the globe have embraced Nintendo Switch, and they have plenty more unique experiences to share with everyone. Whether it's building a kingdom, vanquishing angels and demons, or just kicking back and tending the farm.
Miren, en
Games
Nintendo
make
Direct
our
pasado vimos
dreams
que era
a reality.
Hellblade, ahora
With so much
canje.
available on Nintendo Switch already,
Falta
we're
que
delighted to show
Ori,
you there's even
Ori.
more great
Si
indie
fuera
fun
Ori, fuera lo
fans to
máximo.
share. See for yourself.
Vamos a ver.
First up is Overland, a new take on the end-of-the-world narrative from the creator of Cannonball, Adam Saltzman. Not to mention the gorgeous award-winning visuals by Heather
juego de
Penn and the haunting
supervivencia.
original soundscape by Jocelyn Reyes. It's a squad-focused,
Pelea por
turn-based strategy
turno,
game where you're faced with
A
difficult
los Fire
choices.
Emblem.
Will you search for supplies, heal a wounded ally, fight off a monster, rescue a helpless stranger?
Veo que no son zombies,
save
son
your
especies de
dog?
criaturas
Please save the
raras.
dog. You can't do it all.
No
So
suben-
choose your
no es
actions
zombie, nada
wisely
de
as
eso.
your band of friends road trips across the United States. Sounds easy, right? Well, there's a catch. The farther west you go, the weirder things get. Plus, all levels, road maps, and characters are randomly generated, so every playthrough offers a fresh take on this perilous journey.
Está
Travel the
interesante.
post-apocalyptic roads of Overland when it comes to Nintendo Switch this fall.
Overland.
One man is
Interesante.
prepared to destroy anyone in his sight using moves reminiscent of a violent ballet, all while guided by a self-aware banana named Pedro. Using his arsenal of absolutely crazy skills, you'll battle through the violent underworlds of Old Town, District Null, and beyond. Go full throttle with all your weapons and your body, jumping, flipping, and swinging while putting the drop on your enemies. Since you'll be running and gunning, there's bound to be chaos. Slow things down by shifting into slow motion to pace your actions and dual-wield destruction with elegant accuracy. My friend Pedro drops in as a console exclusive for Nintendo Switch
No,
this
no me
June.
interesa este. Tienen que hacer la matriz y todo eso, pero no me interesa.
In the emotional survival game NeoCab, fulfilling your job as a rideshare driver is the only way you might reunite with your best friend Savvy, who's wanted by Capra, an omnipresent megacorporation. In this dystopic future,
¿Qué?
you're
El
the
juego de
last
tú ser
human
un
driver
Uber.
in a city overrun by automation. As you navigate the streets of the fictional California city,
¿En serio? ¿Un juego de cómo ser
you'll
Uber?
meet a diverse cast of characters,
¿O
each with their own story arc.
simulación de Uber?
Your choices, like picking passengers, balancing your income, sustaining a positive rating, and managing your
Ay,
emotions
sí.
via the field grid system,
Wow,
are
un
all
simulador de
elements you
Uber.
must maintain to keep your job and find your friend. Oh, and don't forget, Capra is watching. NeoCab is scheduled to arrive on Nintendo Switch this summer.
Oh, simulador de Uber.
You know,
Vaya.
I've always wanted to lead a pack of dogs in the wilderness. This next game will be as close as I ever get. Let's check in with Lindsay Rostel, the game's director.
The Iditarod Dog Sled Race is a grueling 1,000-mile journey embarked upon by teams of dogs and mushers of all ages, genders, and skill levels every year. Anyone can win, but many are just trying to finish, trying to prove to themselves that they can do it. As game director at Timberline Studio, I became fascinated, and some might say a little bit obsessed, with this idea. We knew we wanted to tell a story in the world of dog sledding. And while I don't intend to race in the real Iditarod anytime soon, we're thrilled and a little bit nervous to reveal our debut title, the Red Lantern.
Do you have those moments that stick out in your mind? When I was a kid, I was told you are what you do, so choose wisely. I could be an astronaut, a CEO, a painter, a doctor. I could be anything.
Este me recuerda
Hi, I'm
a
supposed to
este
achieve great
juego que yo
things.
subí al canal. Osis. Algo así se llamaba. Osis. Creo que era que se llamaba así el juego. Un indie.
And turns out they tend to remember those
¿Será
moments.
ese?
Hi, I'm a disappointment. So, I've decided to become something else. Something that can't be forgotten. I've got a plan. Get a van, fill it with dogs, go to Alaska, race in the Iditarod dog sled race, and finish. Nothing could take that from me. And things were going to plan. Dogs, sled.
Y esto es un simulador de esquimal. Digo, de esquimal.
However, things tend to go to plan right up until they
Oh,
don't.
el Green Lantern.
You are the musher, training for
El
the
Red
grueling
Lantern,
Iditarod
mejor dicho,
race.
no Green.
With
Oye,
your
que Green
trusty
Lantern,
dogs,
Green Lantern.
navigate the Alaskan wilderness to find your way home. Combining roguelike elements into this story-driven adventure game, hundreds of unique events can occur. Tend to your dogs, mend your own wounds, and hunt to survive. Thanks to the Nintendo Switch system's gyro controls, you can look around the environment with a simple turn of the system in handheld mode. The Red Lantern races onto Nintendo Switch later this year. I don't know about you, Katie, but when I play horror games, I jump a lot. Fortunately, Darkwood is going for that slow burn of the scare meter. Don't get me wrong, Darkwood will creep you out, all while changing the perspective on survival horror games. Craft weapons, prepare traps, fortify hideouts. You'll explore and scavenge the eerie forests of the Soviet bloc by day, then hunker down in your hideout at night. With nightmarish forces corrupting the woods, wait and pray for the sun to come up the next morning.
Y
The
esto.
world of Darkwood is procedurally generated, meaning locations and events will vary for each playthrough and player. There's no linear path in these woods, so proceed with caution and note each decision will impact you and the inhabitants of Darkwood.
No,
Darkwood creeps onto
no hay
Nintendo
poco.
Switch
Hasta ahora no
this
me ha interesado mucho lo que he presentado.
This
Cuphead,
next game has
que
both
es lo que
style
veo que
and
está más
substance. Katana Zero.
Lo más prioritario hasta ahora.
You play as a well-trained
Ah,
assassin,
este juego viene
the
en un
Dragon,
tráiler, sí.
capable of instantly taking out
Tenía
any
curiosidad de ver cuándo iba a salir para Nintendo
obstacles in
Switch,
your
sí,
path.
sí.
Mysterious powers and precognition allow you to both see the future and manipulate time. As you cut through each
Ah,
level,
wow, para
you'll
poner los
leave
tiros.
no breathing bodies behind. I must recommend caution though, since your
Los
foes can
disparos,
return
mejor
the
dicho,
favor by eliminating
como
you
devuelve.
with a single hit. But don't fret,
Este sí me interesa
the game
mucho.
literally rewinds to the beginning of each level for you to learn and improve. Yes, that should work. After a hard-fought mission, sip some tea and try to rest. The next day, you'll take a seat on the therapist's couch and talk through your demons. Of course, make sure to get a much-needed refill of your medication before the next mission. Now go forth, katana in hand, and remember, leave no survivors. Katana Zero slashes its way to
Oh,
Nintendo
18
Switch
de
April 18th.
abril. Qué
It's
bueno, no
available
falta
for
mucho ya.
pre-purchase today.
This
Ese
next
tenía
game is
ganas de jugarlo este.
Let's save that joke for the developer. Wouldn't it be way cooler if they introduced the next game?
totally. So let's pass it over to our friends at Double Fine.
Hi, I'm Lee Petty from Double Fine Productions, creator of Stacking and Headlander. And today, we're going to show you something that has never been seen before. I heard it's rad. Don't spoil it.
Real. Bandai Namco.
The world, twice destroyed, lies in ruin.
¿Qué juego
If
es
we are to
este?
survive, if the world is to blossom again, then we must find the one who is Rad.
Donde él pisa, nace, nace vegetación, donde él pisa.
Beyond foul beats. Mutation.
Oh, se transforma.
Mutation. Tight.
¿Huevos? Cuando esa de serpiente atacaba, con el brazo hace un boomerang y con la cola hace un dragón.
The child shows promise, but the time has come for the real quest to begin. You are Rad.
Está interesante. Está interesante.
Trust me when I say, you have no
Está
idea what
interesante.
you're getting yourself into with this one.
Unless you're talking about a pinball action adventure game, you're right.
That's exactly what this is. Not only is Creature in the Well a world debut, it's also a top-down action-adventure game inspired by the fine art of pinball. It all takes place in the desert, where a giant creature has entrapped townsfolk in an eternal sandstorm. As the last engineer tasked with powering up a giant weather machine, your mission is to finish the job once and for all, before the world beyond the sandstorm is forgotten. Luckily, over 15 weapons
Y
are at
esto
your
es un Dark
disposal,
Souls.
and each one has the power to alter the
Ah,
way
no,
you
ya estoy
interact
viendo
with the
ya.
ricocheting
Tiro pinball.
energy orbs in your environment.
Y eso, y
The
juegos
controls may be
raros.
simple, but there's a deep well of skills to master across all 8
Está interesante la fórmula del juego, en verdad.
While you fight for survival, savor every corner of this painterly world in all its pinball glory when Creature in the Well emerges from the depths this summer.
Betrayed and left for dead, Mr. Wolf finds himself alone, vastly outnumbered, and hell-bent on enacting his revenge. On the bright side, he's got
Si ellos primero presentaron fue a Cángel como un bombazo, hay que presentan de último, hay que ver que presentarán de último ellos.
It's yours too. So, choreograph the most spectacular combos you can, using everything from hatchets to ladders to carrots. Your alternative? Basically just death. Better improvise and fast, as our lone anti-hero, Mr. Wolf, brawls his way to the very heart of the mystery that plagues him. Find out just how twisted this Western revenge tale will get when Bloodroots comes to Nintendo Switch this summer.
Es un juego tipo estrategia, ¿será el juego? Veo que hay razas. Quizá juego de estrategia, estilo StarCraft o así. O Warcraft.
A primal fantasy collides with the advanced game design of today in Pi. In this open-world, third-person action-adventure game,
mundo
the
abierto.
world and your enemies will adapt to your choices. You'll travel to 6 diverse biomes across miles of terrain and encounter 5 factions of creatures itching to dominate the food chain. The only way to prepare is to scavenge, barter, harvest, craft items, and sell them at the market to stock up on supplies. It'll be a true fight for survival when Pine goes wild on Nintendo Switch this August.
Man, I love arcade games, but I'm thinking it's time we bring some more to Nintendo Switch.
How about some games from Rami Ismail and Jan Willem Niemann of the independent studio Glambeer?
Yes, but the people want to know what games and when.
You won't have to wait long to fight endless hordes of enemies because Super Crate Box is coming out next month. It'll be the first time players can engage in fast-paced multiplayer matches, a feature that's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch version.
Plus, Nuclear Throne comes out today. It's an action roguelike about mutants who spend their day fighting for the throne in a gritty, post-apocalyptic world. Whether solo or with a fellow mutant buddy in co-op mode, you can become ruler of the wasteland.
Oh, and we have a new game announcement. Glambeer Arcade.
No me interesa,
It's a
no.
collection of bite-sized games which will have a growing catalog over time.
Pocos juegos que han mostrado hasta ahora me interesan, pocos juegos.
Ultra Bugs is a
Aunque
fast-paced,
cada uno de esos juegos lo
high-score
subiré al
centric
canal,
game
aunque
where you
sea
pilot a ship
por
to
15
fight
minutos,
endless space
para que
bugs
por lo menos
that
ustedes
split
puedan
up
ver
into
cómo ese
more
juego en
space
sí
bugs when you defeat
y decir si quieren comprarlo sí o
Never
no.
fear. Defeating the occasional
Que eso es
boss
lo que hay en el
monsters,
canal ahora, que
Ultra
subiré
Bugs
cada
will
cierto
unlock
tiempo
enemy
15
DNA
minutos de un
that
juego
you can
random.
use to customize your ship.
Para eso a ustedes les puede interesar así
Glambeer
en
Arcade
futuro
with
adquirirlo y
Ultra
no
Bugs is
desperdiciar
coming
su
to
dinero
Nintendo Switch
en
later
algo
this
que
year.
después les disguste.
Shooter fans, we've shot planes out of the sky, destroyed starships in outer space, and now the 2D shooting genre is going underwater. In this aquatic world, you'll unload a variety of weapons and power-ups in co-op mode or versus modes for 1 to 4 players or bots. This multiplayer underwater shooter comes with an oceanic amount of content.
Se juega
with
a 4
more than
personas.
150 challenges across 8 game modes, including 5 versus game
Online.
modes and 5
está
entire
bien.
worlds to battle across in adventure mode. You'll be able to toggle between classic
En online.
joystick controls and motion aiming,
There's un plus.
whether you're playing locally or online. The online functions include matchmaking support, and you can engage with friends via in-game
Se
voice
puede ver la
chat or
conexión
the
de
party
sus
system.
compañeros,
See
como
where
está la
you rate
conexión
on
de
the
ellos
online
también.
leaderboard. When
Oh, hay
Swing
puntuación
Sanity makes a
también.
splash on Nintendo Switch this summer.
Está interesante, está interesante los submarinos,
Next
el de los
up, check out
buzos.
the newest game from our friends at Inti Creates.
Love those guys.
Inti Creates and Sunsoft present
Oh,
the long-awaited
tenía años que no escuchaba Sonso.
action-adventure game.
Ah, sí, sí, pero esto ya está en Nintendo Switch ya.
Nintendo Switch.
O este es otro DLC.
Your new battle tank, G Sophia, is equipped with the
Otra
guidance system.
entrega.
Harness SP for its weapons and abilities anytime it falls from tall heights or takes damage. Build your arsenal of powerful sub-weapons and blast any mutant scum that stands in your way as you traverse each stage. Jason also has some new tricks up his sleeve. He can now counter enemy
Cierta
attacks
entrega.
with the blast counter. If timed just right, they can be chained into multiple attacks that dish out lots of damage back at the enemy. In Blaster Master 02,
Wow.
the stage is set in outer space, and there's more to explore than ever before as you travel across the galaxy to a host of different planets and their orbiting planetoids. Search for new items that power up both G Sophia and Jason. During their journey, Jason and Eve will cross paths with a motley cast of fellow metal attacker tank pilots and their support droids. Will their fellow pilots become trusted friends or bitter
Interesante.
enemies? Mutant blasting action is back. Blaster Master 02.
Sí, dos.
Available
Vaya.
today.
Este sí lo voy a
Why are
probar.
you upside down right now?
Well, there are many theories as to why, but the true reason remains a mystery. Perhaps there's an alternate dimension within these very walls that, until just recently, lay dormant. Or perhaps someone flipped the camera. No one can be sure.
Tres. Oh.
It's no longer a mystery that the official game of Stranger Things Season 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch. This retro-style adventure game lets you play through and delve deeper into the events of Season 3 alongside a friend with local co-op. Explore the town of Hawkins, solve puzzles, battle enemies, and uncover mysteries as one of 12 playable characters from the hit original series. Cancel your long weekend plans because the game arrives on Nintendo Switch the very same day as the third season on Netflix. Hey, stranger things have happened.
Okay, that's quite a selection of games coming soon to Nintendo Switch. But guess what? There are tons of great indie games available right now on the system.
To celebrate indie games and their creators, we're running a sale on some of these fantastic offerings. From Firewatch to Yoku's Island Express, there's no shortage of games and distinctive worlds at your fingertips.
Make sure to check them out on Nintendo eShop later today. On behalf of Nintendo, we'd like to thank all the indie developers that bring their incredibly unique game worlds to Nintendo Switch, and the avid players that support indie games. We are extremely grateful.
Huh. Do you hear something?
Finally, I'm almost out of this crypt. But this isn't the world I
Esto
remember.
me acuerda a mí a hacer a
At
mini
least this
Scar.
guy is familiar. And that pulsing rhythm.
Otro juego inspirado en Zelda.
I think I was called here for a purpose. It looks like I've got work to do.
Mira la música, mira.
This time, I have help.
Oh. Oh. Link y Zelda en ese juego está. pero está muy bien con Nintendo. Oh, es como una especie de crossover. ¿Y ya? ¿Ya? Ah. Bueno, está interesante. Nintendo se ve que va a explotar mucho la saga de Zelda ahora. Se ve que va a dar muchos exclusivos. Esto parece que fue prestado para ese juego, ese personaje en sí. Ya que es un juego indie donde están los personajes de Zelda, Link y Zelda como prestados. Interesante. Y más amigos, hasta aquí dejemos esto. Ya saben, si les gustó online no cuesta nada suscribirse y compartir. Nos vemos. Chao, chao, chao.